So when I think of mission, I always seem to think of the TV shows Mission Impossible or even Inspector Gadget. That's putting an age on me too. Um, but at the end of every mission message, we always hear the warning: this message will self-destruct. And I wonder, is that what's going to happen to the message and mission that Jesus has given us? Is his mission and his message going to self-destruct? See, like the agent, we've heard the mission directives, and without choosing to take action, the mission dies with us. So why do organizations have mission statements? Organizations have mission statements to guide them in their decision making and to help them remain relevant and solvent. So what does this matter to us? As Christians and as a church, we both have a mission and a mission statement to guide us. So the mission statement here at State Marks goes like this: to bring about transformation in individuals, families, and our community, and the world through Jesus Christ. As Christians, we also have Jesus' words and the entirety of Scripture to guide us as well. We just heard one such passage. It's known as the Great Commission. And did you notice that last word, commission? There's the word again, mission. So let me read this passage to you again. Then Jesus came to the disciples and said, "All authority in heaven and earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always, to the very end of age." This passage in Matthew is often paired with one we find in John. It's John verse 20, 21, where Jesus says, "Peace be with you. As my Father has sent me, so I am sending you." Here we have two verses that are imperatives. Jesus isn't saying, well, if you want to, go. He's saying, you. Go, do. The verse in John is saying, have a peace about you. Don't worry. You're being sent. The passage in Matthew is a little different. We're already sent. But what Jesus is saying to the disciples, to us, is that by his authority, make disciples of all nations, baptize them, and teach them. Notice that it's not by our will or our authority. This is by his will, his authority, his mission. Jesus gave us the particular tasks. So do we have some liberty as how we can go about accomplishing these tasks? Yeah. But nonetheless, our responsibilities don't change. I think we fail to remember that this is his mission, not ours. This is the mission of Jesus carried out through us. Now, I have to admit, I'm not the best communicator. My mind travels 1,000 miles a minute with my ADD. So when sometimes I'm talking to people about mission and discipleship, I'll know exactly what I'm trying to say. But I fail to remember that not one of us is at the same place in our discipleship walk as the other. So there may be some content that gets lost in translation. And in fact, I think this is probably a little true of all of us, especially the ministry team. We can, and we will do a better job at giving practical application for these. So if you have a question, find us, ask us. We'll be more than happy to clarify anything. And I feel as though the topic of mission is one of the ways that we've perhaps lost something in translation. Some of the terms we use here at St. Mark's as a part of our DNA may sound foreign to some of you, especially those of you that are new. So for instance, when we refer to our local, national, and international efforts, this sermon series that we're going through right now is about thinking in threes. And like Andre said last week, that's a holy and biblical number. Easy to remember. But when we speak about threes in relation to mission, we're talking about our local, national, and international efforts. So if you look at the back of your bulletin insert, you'll find the graphic that's up on there. I know it may not be the best to read up there. So let's clarify what each one of these mean. We'll start with our local. When we talk about local, we can equate this to the city of Auburn, to DeKalb County, and maybe even northeastern Indiana. Mission in our locality asks the question, how are we affecting our community and creating a positive place for our neighbors and our families to live? Our primary focus here at St. Mark's is our partnerships with local schools and organizations. Particularly, we have partnerships in the areas of mental health and addiction, as well as our local schools. But it's worth noting that these aren't the only areas that we're working with, and right now we don't have time to go through them. On a national level, we need to ask ourselves, what can we do to carry out the mission of Jesus to make disciples on a national level? How can we affect the climate and culture of our country? How can we bring hope to a sometimes hopeless nation? We can be the light that shines for him. We can be the example, not the exception. We can partner with organizations that have the mission of Jesus at heart. And one of the ways that we accomplish this now is that we partner with our Lutheran bodies in their efforts around the country. Now, international, we've spoke about this quite a bit, especially within the last year. And I think it speaks for itself. When we think internationally, we need to ask, what can we do to further the kingdom outside of our borders? We're already accomplishing part of this with our missionary in Kenya, Kathleen. We also have some really great partners that have a hunger to learn about ministry and their roles in furthering the kingdom in Kenya, in India, and several other countries. But is there more that we can do in this area? You see, mission is about service and sacrifice. You don't have one without the other. If you're serving, there's some sort of sacrifice. And if you're sacrificing, you're serving someone. If you think about it, this is the culmination of Jesus' life. While walking this earth, he lived to serve, and he was the ultimate sacrifice. His life was mission. When on mission, we give of our time and our talents and our treasures. We practice in good stewardship of the gifts that God gives us. When we speak of giving our time, some practical ways that we can think about time in relationship to mission is when we're discipling people. When we go take them to coffee and give them a listening ear. When we invite them and go along with them to Alpha. Sometimes it's attending the modern gathering for somebody that's new. When we consider how to approach mission from a talent perspective, try thinking about it like this. Ask yourself, what do I do best? What am I passionate about? Some ways that you can help on mission here in the church are during our worship services. Some opportunities are helping in the tech booth, sitting in the nursery, teaching Sunday school, greeting, ushering, choir, worship team. I think you guys get the idea. The list is pretty much endless. There are also opportunities to interact with our youth and our young adults. Now, how I found my place in mission is that one day somebody told me, your mission is where your misery was. And they were right. It's my passion to help those in various stages of recovery, to help them find their hope in Jesus. Through this passion, I was able to discover my spiritual gift, evangelism. And that's the funny thing about ministry and mission. Once you find what you're passionate about, there's no stopping. You want to do more. And there's something that I've realized since I've picked up some of Dan's hours. And I no longer work in a secular job. My job isn't a job. This is my passion. I love working with the team here. I love working with you guys. What I love most about it is the fact that we all have the same passion. We love being Jesus' hands and feet. And while I'm probably busier here and in my personal life than I've ever been, I have this sense of peace. I don't feel as rushed as I did. It's a difference of night and day. You see, mission isn't about us. This is the mission of Jesus carried out through us. Why do you think it is that we're so passionate about mission here at St. Mark's? It's because we're passionate about Jesus. It's because we're passionate about people and sharing the gospel. And possibly, more than anything, it's because we're passionate about the survival of our church and our community. It's challenging, especially in this day and age, that we think outside of our own bubble and sphere of influence. It's just a matter of our culture anymore. However, I'll say it again. Mission is not about us. We want to meet our preferences, the way we like things. But God is sending us to minister to people in their language to meet their needs and preferences, not our own. If we exist only to serve within these walls, the message of Jesus, like the one we just watched, will self-destruct. It'll cease to exist because we're not the only ones facing this challenge. This is the story of Christianity in America. We've heard the statistics time and time again. So, what are we going to do about it? While preparing for this sermon, I read a book on mission. And it came upon a message that I believe to be very relevant to us and possibly a point to catapult us forward. And it goes like this. We will proclaim a faithful gospel in a culturally relevant way. And we will worship in a way that connects in that setting. When the connection is made, the code is broken. God does not tell us that we will always like it. He does say that we always need to function as his missionary church. Mission isn't always comfortable. But when you're on mission, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. It's not people that look and act like you and me that Jesus tells us to minister to. It wasn't people that looked and acted like Jesus that he called or ministered to. It's the hurt, the lost, the broken. These are the people that need him the most. And you know what? That's everyone. There's not a person alive that is not hurt in some way, that's not lost in some way, or that hasn't been broken in some way. So, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to be Jesus' hands and feet? Are we willing to be uncomfortable? Are we willing to serve and sacrifice? Are we ready to meet people where they are? Or are we willing to let the message of Jesus Christ self-destruct? Our mission may not always be easy, but nothing worth doing ever is. There are hard decisions to make. There will be sacrifice. But I can promise you this. Jesus will keep his promise and always be with us. The peace that passes all understanding will always be with us. And let's not forget, anything that is done to honor God will not be done in vain.